What is good, everybody? It's Tuesday, Comic News Weekly. We're missing a little Bryan Wood tonight, a little lightheaded, but that's okay. We're still going to have some fun tonight. We're going to be talking about an icon gone too soon. A little bit of Disney action going on with some Hulu. What's up with that? I don't know. And CBCS stepping to the plate and taking a pretty big swing that I didn't see coming at all. And we got a little Motor City Comic Con recap going on, so I'm really excited for that. Really excited to be back hanging out with you guys tonight. And we'll introduce the guests here in just a moment because it's been a couple weeks. But yeah, without further ado, the man, the myth, the other bearded legend, we've got McClay from Beyond Wednesdays. Bryan, what is up, buddy?
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Dude, it's so good to see you, man. It feels like it's been months, but it's only been 2 weeks.
Bro, that's how it works sometimes. Time is the ultimate resource, my brother. It's the only thing that we can never get back, ever.
Unless you're Marvel. I mean, wait, what? No. Yeah, it's good to see you, man. I really missed you guys last week. I definitely didn't say no to taking a bit of extra time off leading right up into a vacation, but it's great to see you. And you know what? You know what else? It's great to see Ryan. Rhynoverse, man. It's been a hot minute.
Right here. No. You going to the beach? No, I'm joking. How's it going? Well, I wish I was going to the beach. Start of summer this weekend, right? Yeah, start of summer at the official start of summer or something like that. Yeah.
It feels like it. I don't know. It got hot enough outside that I got home today and it was like 74, 75 in the house. I'm like, ooh, it's time to turn the AC on. Boy, am I kind of regretting that. It's like 60 down in the basement now today. And it's like,
wait. What did you say? How hot was it?
It's like 78 degrees here in Michigan. That's hot.
That's what we get. That's how cold it gets in
night. Yeah. Yeah, I'm lucky if it hits below 90 at night, bro.
You guys are literally like in deserts or near deserts. Man, welcome to everybody in the chat tonight. GTK Comics hanging out, tailgating even. Brad, good to see you, man. Good old Mark Hoosman, good to see you as well. Brad's still kicking it into the live chat as everybody continues to filter in here. We appreciate each and every one of you guys every week. Yeah, and right off the bat, just to kind of touch bases on this is a rest in peace to an icon and a legend gone way too soon. Mr. Ray Stevenson very suddenly was taken from us. Super sad to hear this, especially with his role in Ahsoka coming up.
Man, we've lost quite a few people the last couple of days. They're just like dropping like flies out there. Kind of makes you wonder.
Yeah, it's definitely unfortunate.
Yeah, to be that young and have a sudden death like that, you kind of nobody's really talking about it. I mean, the first thing that in the past it would make you think drugs or something like that, or overdose, accidental overdose type thing. But nowadays, you get more than one conspiracy to think about. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Just rest in peace and gone too soon. An icon and a legend, and really looking forward to seeing how Ahsoka plays out. Just too bad he won't be here to see it himself.
Yeah. Well, he's probably seen it already. Hopefully he saw it. You know what I mean? Hopefully they showed it to him, or at least showed him enough of it.
Right.
So have we heard anything other than just sudden death?
No, I didn't really dig too much into it. That article on CBR didn't go into any specifics. It did go into a pretty lengthy history of how Ray Stevenson kind of came to be in acting in his career, which was really cool. So I will drop the link in the chat here for everybody, and definitely suggest reading up on that and getting to know a little bit more about how Ray Stevens came to be.
Yeah, he's got some really great movies out there that you definitely should check out. And I'm not talking about the ones most people talk about, like Rome, or talking about like some of those ones that you have to go and look and see what they're about. He's got some really good like British and gangster movies, and he did a really cool Bollywood movie. So Yeah, it's a bummer, man.
Definitely a bummer. Yeah, just a quick rest in peace to Ray Stevenson. I loved him as the Punisher. I know Warzone isn't really the greatest or most loved Punisher movie, but I enjoyed that quite a bit. Just moving right along to some other Disney news that we've been talking about Disney a lot the last several weeks, actually several months, and this one coming out of the same website, CBR, had a bit more to say about what Disney's plans were. And are any of you guys surprised, or maybe even not surprised, that Disney is going to be a single app by the end of the year with Hulu?
We're teaming up with Hulu. Yeah, I guess we were just talking about this before we got on. Like, what is the angle? Something about maybe they're trying to not lose subscriptions.
What does that mean, single app? Like, isn't Hulu already an app?
But it's going to be an app in Disney altogether.
Okay.
Hulu and Disney will be on the same app.
Yeah, I'm not.
That's what I figured.
I'm not surprised they're making this move. I'm just kind of surprised that they're announcing it now. And I don't know if it's because they're trying to shore up subscriber base, because just recently, a week or two ago, there was a couple articles out there about how Disney's lost millions of subscribers just in the first quarter of the year. Or maybe the tail end of the quarter, beginning of the second quarter.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, if they're losing subscriptions, and maybe this is a way to not look that way if they're combined. Well, that's what we were talking about. That's what you were kind of bringing up earlier.
I wonder. I mean,
does it really matter?
Yeah, because they already owned they already owned 60% of Hulu or something like that, 40 or 50 or 60%. They already owned a big chunk of Hulu. They just finished buying out the rest of Hulu.
Yeah, saying that, and it's something with the ads too had something to do with it.
Yeah, having too many apps where you got to jump back and forth is a pain in the ass, and then you gotta. So I can understand them trying to figure out how to get as many apps under one umbrella as possible.
Well, didn't we just hear that HBO is absorbing or taking on a couple of things, and HBO Max is now just going to be called Max? I think that's another article that was out recently. So we're shoring up a couple of different streaming services over there, 3 or 4 of them, or 2 or 3 of them, into one called Max. And now Disney Plus is going to be renaming to something else. I think a lot of people are just kind of moving their pawns around the table and just kind of, I think all the life rafts are starting to fill up with everybody else that can't stay afloat.
Yeah. It's this stuff's starting to hit the fan, if you will, because people's wallets are not as plentiful as they were. People are starting to make these tough decisions on who do they want to keep and who they don't need to keep. And so those decisions are starting to kind of to draw lines, if you will, in the sand of who's going to make it and who's not. And they're trying to make some strategic moves in order to look like the kings or look like they're doing well, when probably in all actuality, there's a lot of companies suffering right now.
I think you're dead nuts on.
I agree.
My nuts are alive, but I appreciate that.
Dead nuts.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, they always kind of play this cat and mouse game with a lot of people that don't have a large expendable income, or people that have no expendable income either choose not to play in that streaming media game, or they get very selective. And I think with where the market and the economy has been going, more and more of the people that usually will sign up for an app and then just forget about it and not pay attention to the monthly fees coming out are starting to really notice those taking a bigger hit as more and more services. It's really easy to forget about an app or a streaming service for 4, 5, 6 months until all of a sudden your bank account starts to get pretty tight. And then you're like, oh, hey, it's Hulu or Netflix just took out that next 30 or 40 bucks or whatever, that 20 bucks. It's like, I don't even use that anymore. It's like that hits, and it's like you're reminded, oh, I could drop that, or I could drop another one. So I think more and more people that did have disposable income that might not now are making that choice to spend that time to shore up those extra expenditures.
Oh yeah, for sure, brother. I know that. You know what I did is I went and looked up one of those apps that will tell you like all the money that you're spending on a monthly basis.
Rocket Fish or whatever it is.
Yeah. Rocket. Yeah. Whatever that Rocket one is, just to check and make sure. And there was a couple of ones on there when I'm like, I probably shouldn't be doing this one right now, So,
Rocket,
those apps are really doing well right now. And people are trying to consolidate.
I'm going to try that probably tonight because I've been meaning to do that. And because, the ones that I'm like, it's $4. I don't really worry about it. Now I'm like, I could use that $4. That'll buy me some lunch for the week, for the day, or something like that, or my Red Bulls for the day or whatever it is. So I'm definitely going to go look at that a little bit more. And you're going to see, I think, now the market is starting to kind of correct itself a little bit. We're starting to see a little more of an upward trajectory than we were seeing. And I think involved with that is you're going to start seeing the companies that were able to weather this fairly large hurricane of a storm that we came through. Which ones are going to be able to come on the other side and take advantage of the mishaps of other companies. I mean, there's a lot of banks doing that. There's some banks right now that are doing well, and they're positioning themselves to acquire these banks that are not doing well. I think
I had somebody that I really respect his point of view on business and stuff, and especially in the world we live in. And he said to me, he goes, for the most part, most businesses don't last 3 years, right? They don't last 3 years. And if they do have a huge growth, by the end of the 3 years, they've lost that huge growth for the most part. And there's a lot of businesses out there that are probably dealing with that right now. So like you guys said, figuring out any ways to save on money is causing people to go to things like YouTube, right? Free, basically. Figuring out ways to watch things on the internet free. They're doing those things more and more. And the younger generation is more apt to go to those places first now.
Yeah.
So we're, the people who are down to watch a cable set-top box, hell, most cable companies don't even install set-top boxes anymore, So it's very interesting how a lot of these quote-unquote apps went so quickly to being the king to now having to consolidate and team up, right? So we'll see how that plays out in the future too. If in the future they're no longer an app, they're just a website, or they're just that type of thing, and everybody's just going to the web. They're figuring out ways to do that.
Yeah, and how long after they pushed through this and they survived did they start pushing up fees even higher? It's just like the cable companies back in the 80s and 90s into the 2000s when you had what was left after the .com bust that happened in the 90s or the early 2000s, whatever was left, those conglomerates, they just started jacking prices up. I remember hearing about that constantly as a kid in high school. Cable rates going up to the point where my dad would shut off cable for a couple of months, then get tired of not having cable and turn it on for a couple of months. And we were playing this game 20, 30 years ago. Now we're just doing it with apps, and it's way more convenient. You don't have to have anything installed. But yeah, I mean, you turn around and watch Disney Plus or watch something else, or Max turn into a $40 per month app 2 years, 3 years from now. Because we no longer live in the day and age where a company's goal is to survive 2 or 3 years and then develop a business plan for the next 10 years and become a larger and more healthy company taking care of its employees. Today's day and age is startup companies are looking to get bought out in under 3 years and get bought out hard. They're looking to balloon their companies up and get bought out by Google, by Netflix, the larger conglomerates.
Well, cutting the cord used to be a way of saving money. It used to be the way of like, oh, I'm going to cut the cord, save some cash here, really just get what I want to get, what's good for me. And now, I mean, the companies have learned, and they've learned to make that not as cheap as it once was. And in doing that, they start off, if you look at it, most of these companies that have these apps, they start off with a smaller price. And then all of a sudden it gets a little bit bigger. It's incrementally gotten bigger and bigger and more expensive I think at one point when Disney first came out, it was $4.99, I believe, or roughly around then. Just the other day, I was forced to make a decision. Do I want with ads for $7.99 or do I want without ads for $10.99? or I want the whole bigger package that has all the other stuff included with it. So I was like, and I was like, it's only a couple bucks. I don't have to worry about the kids complaining about the commercial because they're used to not having commercials now. So I went to the $10.99. Now it's double what we originally wanted to get into it, but it's because it's an inching up little by little. And all of them have done that across the board to where they're like, sure, we started off low, but now they're back to where they're at. And then who knows where they stop increasing it at.
I'll chalk some of that up to growing pains too. Like Netflix was spending vastly large amounts of money, more than what they were bringing in based on the subscriber base, on shows like Stranger Things and Sicko with, what do? You want to support a specific TV show? You say Stranger Things. Is it more supportive to get the streaming service or buy it at a physical store? Well, it kind of depends now because Netflix owns Stranger Things. But if you wait and buy the show at the physical store on DVD or Blu-ray after the fact, then you run the tremendous risk of being spoiled, because now, like you guys said, with YouTube and other free streaming media services, think TikTok. A lot of people are going to these, especially TikTok. I've seen this a lot. They'll take entire movie clips at 3 minutes at a time, whatever the max allowable video limit is on TikTok. They'll post it in chunks, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. So you could just be scrolling through there, and just because you're interested in Marvel means you could end up seeing, or you're interested in Stranger Things or Netflix, you could end up stumbling on and getting some stuff spoiled while you wait for the physical media. But yeah, Synchrotron's not the only one that's thinking back to physical media.
Well, Brad, it's not that they hooked me, line and sinker, but they hooked my kids. And they hooked my kids to where they're used to TV being a certain way. And it's crazy when they see commercials. I've always used commercials. I'll sit through commercials. I never cared. But my kids are just trained like to not have commercials. And then it's not that they complain, but when the commercials come on, their attention is diverted. And then all of a sudden they're out getting into something crazy.
Just wait. Wait until they start really getting a voice and they start hitting 6, 7, 8 years old, those commercials. You'll save more money by paying for the non-commercial app than you will if they sit through the commercials and then pick at you every day for this latest $100 toy or this $200 toy. You'll save more money getting the no commercial thing. It's seriously the game I'm kind of playing. Streaming media services. I will make sure I get everything with no commercials.
Brad said Pluto, babe. What is Pluto? Is Pluto another service or what is that?
It's probably another app. Free app.
I'm interested in see if that's something new, because that's something new that's out there. This is how you get the information. You get it from other folks that have cool ideas. So if that is a cool idea, please let it be known to those who do not know what that is.
We really liked Sling for a long time there while our son was much younger, because they had a lot of really, really awesome young toddler content that wasn't like mainstream, but it was still really, it was like the PBS of streaming services almost.
I know Freebie. I've seen Freebie because that's what we've tested that out on a couple of different things, and that's pretty cool. Again, commercials are, and the kids have gone okay with that commercial. But if Pluto does it do live TV and stuff like that? Because the biggest thing is like being able to watch games and whatnot. Now I have my Fire Stick unlocked, whatever. I know how to do all that jazz with it and get it to where I can see whatever. But the family, for whatever reason, is not as technically savvy.
Yeah.
So if I'm not there to do it for them, they're like,
I hate that. It drives me crazy. Like, I become that guy for my family where if nobody knows how to do anything, they just give me a call and it's like,
oh. I have a weekly call with my mom because I put Fire Stick in her house and she has one in all the rooms, and she always comes back. She goes, that stupid man's on the TV, because YouTube, when it logs you out whenever it does an update, there's someone getting ready to shoot a basketball. She goes, that stupid man's on the TV again. I'm like, at first I was like, what man? Finally, I know what she means. It's like, oh, it's unlocked. Yeah, okay, I gotta log you back.
I think that's where companies like Comcast, a cable company in Michigan here, will still hold on to some life, because as the next generation, or not the next generation, but the latest generation or whatever, as people grow older and they lose the interest or the need to keep up with technology and continue learning new things, they get set in their ways. And like my parents still watch Comcast cable TV because what they know how to turn on a TV with a remote, and they know how to click through the channels. So that's why they stick with that, and why they won't go to streaming media, because now they have to figure out a Fire Stick, or they have to figure out a streaming media box and figure out all the different apps to download, and they don't want to do it. But
exactly. My uncle just came to me last weekend and he said, I want to get out of cable, but I want to be able to go to my channels right away. I don't want to have to go search for them. I'm like, well, you can set up through YouTube TV and get on, we could split our YouTube TV costs and, you can set. And he's like, I just want to be able to have my favorite channels be there first. And I go, yeah, we can set that up. He's like, and I'm like, this is such simple stuff, but, like you said, they don't know it. They don't understand it. So it's just more reason to consolidate, which reminds me, when do you think, if ever, we'll get some consolidation on grading companies? Huh?
dude, I'm
Huh?
glad. I'm glad you brought that up because I don't think I've heard anybody else out in the community talking about this on YouTube or anywhere else. And we're already, most of this month is over, but we'll talk about the dates here a little bit. Bro, I'm just going to share the screen and let you kick it off.
Yeah, bro. Let me go ahead and do this. I'll share my screen. All right. So CBCS, I had a show the other night and we talked about the fact that CBCS cases are just better. They're better than CGC's cases. They've always been better. The only problem with CBCS in the past has been their horrible looking labels and their issues with, being spotty on sending stuff out in time, sending stuff back in time. I know people have complained about turnaround time with CGC in the past, but CBCS has also had some major issues. Well, during the month of May, CBCS is going to be giving you guys a promise on all orders through them. You'll get your books back within the allotted time, or it's on them. They're on track, they said. Turnaround times now as low as 30 days for standard service. And this will apply to all orders being placed between May 1st and June 9th. So basically, it says here, refund is only valid on grading fee, excludes shipping. So they won't refund you on shipping. And service levels are counted in business days. Issues with payment or submission forms will void turnaround time. So that's interesting. Submission starts the first business day after the order is received in the office. Failure for CBCS to ship offers or orders by turnaround time deadline will result in grading refund. CBCS is not responsible for delays in return shipping once the order has shipped from their office, and it's applicable online, in office drop-offs, and at shows, so all of them. And for dealers also. Oh, no, it says for dealers and retailers, please contact our sales team for more information. So I wonder what that is.
I.e., you don't get the deal.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. It's interesting. We were talking about the other day. This is CBCS's time to pounce right now. CGC put out all these new products and offers, and the quality has been dog shit. There's been major issues with CGC damaging books lately. Their cases are complete garbage right now across the board, comics wise. Other than that, I don't know anything else. But comics wise, they're just garbage across the board. They're easy to get into. They're easy to tamper with. People are having problems with their books moving around and sliding around, and it's just bad. And CBCS has the quality product right now. But again, here's the problem. It always goes back to the market value. And CGC has that extra market value, extra 10, 15%, sometimes 20% in market value, if not more, on certain books. So will people start using their dollar, in a way that will make the market change? We'll see.
I think that it's slowly turning. I've been saying this for a little bit, but I mean, I do feel that in the near future, CBCS will be seen as the more accurate source of grading, and therefore will carry a bigger, have a better price in the market because people know that the grading is more accurate versus the CGC, where their grading is extremely chaotic and volatile. Like it's all over the place. Now they're trying to Now, in the past few months, CGC is starting to see that their grading is, and they've become hardcore or whatever on it. But I don't know how long that'll last, and you can see people are getting upset because they're not getting the same grades that they were getting over at CGC. I mean, I know me, if I wanted to get the right grade, I sent it to CBCS. If I wanted a good grade because I planned on selling it, I would send it to CGC because I know that it used to get a better grade there than it would get at CBCS. And it was just kind of known. And I always thought that's going to be detrimental to the overall industry or the market on these things, because who's going to want to go and purchase a book from CGC if they know that it's 9.8? It's not really a 9.8. I mean, you can, especially when you see it and you get it in. So you would think that later on the road, when they see it, it's more consistent there, that it would become a more valuable product. But that's yet to be seen. That's just my theory.
You'd think there's a couple issues at play here. One, I'm starting to feel like we're beating a dead horse. This comes up every couple of years where there's some sort of change where CBCS is going to take a bigger chunk in the market and start to catch up and gain on the value of CGC. CGC messes this up or that up. Like CGC gives some rope to CBCS and CBCS attempts to take it. I think the market overall still sees greater value in CGC regardless of who does what. I think those of us that have greater opinions on this are a very small piece of the pie, and the rest of that pie doesn't care. They still see CGC as having a greater value. They don't pay attention to the finite details like Bryan, you and I do, or Bryan would. I think what CGC did to solve the Newton ring issue is going to cause bigger problems down the line with their books, and their books move around a little bit more. I agree with you guys. Like the CGC cases, like you could snap the top of those things off in 3.3 seconds. I think CBCS does have the better case, but they still have the worst label. They have the worst and hardest to read font, and they have their label doesn't stand out. It doesn't really clash. It's like you look at that across a con floor, it's so much harder to read the grade of a book than it is on a CGC book from across the aisle, from across the way. CGC has a pretty label. I'm not even calling CGC labels pretty by any means. It just stands out better. It's easier to read. The font is easier to read. It's not about one being prettier than the other. It's just easier to read.
So I will say this on that note, CBCS has a better label from the top down. If you look top down, CBCS looks gorgeous. It looks beautiful. But for some reason, it just doesn't look as good within these areas right here. They need to do something. They need to fill this out. They need to make this look better. But from the top down, man, does it look good.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a couple of things here. I think those of us that have greater concerns or that are voicing our opinions and kind of picking away at this are a much smaller part of the market or the pie overall in the collecting genre. And there are people out there that will strictly only collect CGC. And the values, every time this happens, I still feel like we're beating a dead horse. 2 years ago, it was CGC in its cases, and they got better cases, and the better cases, well, did it really gain them much market share? Maybe some. There are some devout CBCS collectors, and I appreciate them too and their opinion on training and educating me as well. At the end of the day, it feels like we come back around in this and we beat this horse again every 2 years.
Well,
and I still feel like we're in the same place. Now, CGC does have a lot of issues. I'm not going to bat for them, essentially. I've had books damaged by them in the grading process as well and received them damaged. I also think expectations are not aligning with what is reality. Like you hear a lot of that, hey, this shouldn't be a 9.8, I see a spine tick. Well, does the greater collecting euphorium out there, whatever, does the greater group of collectors out there, like you think about it, at any point in time, everybody transitioning into and up into and becoming a more mature collector, what larger percentage of them know that 9.8s are allowed to have up to two imperfections? And if you see one egregious spine tick, that might be the only thing wrong with the book, and it could still make 9.8. I'm not batting for CGC. I'm not saying, I'm not going to defend them, But let's look at the reality of is the bigger bulk of us as collectors, we're still working to train and educate each other through channels like this, through
but CGC doesn't play by those ball games for the most part, dude. Like you get if you got somebody like Red Hood going over your books, and a book comes back and he says that should have been a 9.6, 9.8, it comes back an 8.0 and 8.5, you know that either one, CGC isn't playing by the rules that they set, or two, that they're dropping your stuff. And like a lot of graders and good pressers will say, that the grading should start at a 10.0. And every issue should take off of a 10.0, right? So that way, if you find, only 2 issues, or whatever, but they don't play it that way. They do it as like in a weird way. So, yeah, man, I don't know what to think there when it comes to how they grade and which is a better grader. CBCS to me has always been the better grader.
I agree that grading has been a hot topic and has been a severe issue that CGC has dropped the ball on substantially for sure. And it's been extremely risky. The last 4 submissions that I submitted before a lot of this crap started really happening and they started trickling through. And 2 of my submissions out of the 4 or 5 of them that I sent landed and had some of the worst treatment ever. And it's like pulling tooth and nail to try to get help is like, well, you signed the paperwork, you clicked on the boxes. And I'm like, you guys, this is really tough to get through when a book that was not damaged and was not handled up until you guys open the box then becomes damaged. And you're telling me I sent it in damaged. That's just not the case.
Yeah. So if all things were equal as far as like the labels and the fonts and the style of case, if that was all equal, it would just be the grading that you would rest it on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case, who do you have more confidence in grading it correctly?
Right.
Yes.
But have they rebuilt the reputation after sending hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books off a site and losing them? Are you willing to take that risk?
Well, that's it. I guess I'm saying like that. Just the main reason we send them is for the grade. That's the main reason why we do this. I send it for the preservation factor. But if you're looking at what the main reason is, which is the grade, everything else being equal, who are you going to send it to get the correct grade?
I'm going to send it to CGC to give a better chance at getting a closer grade to what the book is, knowing that they're not sending my books off site and I'm getting a better label out of it. Am I getting a better product? That's what we're here to debate about. Because when CBCS lost hundreds and hundreds of people's books by sending them off site to get graded at somebody else's garage, that blows up the trust wagon right there with a lot of people, especially me.
I guess I'm saying like it's all equal like that, like those one-offs, because there was things that was lost with CGC and whatever as well. But like the actual great practice of grading, the practices that I feel that like CGC has done with their grading practices are they'll err on the side of of a good grade versus a negative grade to give the sender a better experience when they receive their grades back.
So you're willing to take more risk of your books getting lost to get a 9.8 from CBCS?
I'm not saying it's a 9.8
or a correct grade, if you will.
Grade. I think that if they had a big submission that was lost, or if there was a big is it happened a number of times?
It wasn't one big submission. It was several submissions of hundreds of books.
What was taken to correct it?
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books were lost because they decided to have them graded off-site at an employee's house / garage or whatever they called.
So that was obviously a bad decision.
Yeah. And is this them coming to the plate to try to repair that?
So if that was a bad decision, they probably learned from it. They're probably not going to do that ever again.
You can't say probably. You say hopefully.
I mean, you just
know how ridiculous. Yeah.
Hopefully they would never do that again, or learn from that and adjust however that might be. So I'm not saying that like that sucks that happened for sure. And but there's things that happen with companies all the time, similar to that one bad thing doesn't mean that the whole caboodle is not a good thing. It's not good. Yeah, I'm looking at the consistency and what comes out on a consistent basis. And CGC is consistently over the past, and they might have changed it and gotten more. I think as of recently, they've become tighter because I've gotten my books back. I showed y'all I had a 9.4, it came back an 8.5, which I still think that's completely absurd. But it can't. They're coming back, and they're coming back a tougher grade than I'm used to. I don't know if they're just being meaner or if they're just more accurate now. I don't even know what's going on, to be honest with you.
I will say this, what CBCS has done over the last couple of years means I'm not sending them a multiple $1,000 book. If I'm sending them books, I'm sending them $20, $30, $40 books that I might do giveaways on. I might have some fun experiencing their process. I'm not sending them a $2,000 Clone Wars 1. I'm not sending them a $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 retail incentive Clone Wars 1. They're not getting multiple $1,000 a book just because of the simple risk of I have no guarantee that they're not going to keep that book on site. They can write that on their website all they want, but after what they just did,
is there a guarantee that CGC doesn't do that?
You're not wrong there, but I mean, like the track record for me with grading with CGC is there. They've never lost a single one of my books. Now that I have had damaged books, I have had mechanical errors, I have had a lot of issues, but that's the reason why I do all of my unboxings on YouTube of CGC books, is then it becomes something I can use for insurance purposes.
Sure.
I can send them a video, say this box was completely sealed and look what happened and look what I got. But I can't take that risk for something that's as important as like the Clone Wars 1 that I just submitted.
Yeah, I would like to me. I've heard those things. It doesn't really bother me because I think that, especially if it's been known and it's a well-known thing. I mean, obviously, it's like saying you were caught doing something or you did something wrong and it came out, and you know that everyone's watching you. You're probably going to take massive precautions not to do that again, especially soon after it. So I'd be okay with it because I think that they're a company trying to gain. They're not trying to lose. So that I could see them thinking that maybe it was okay, and then seeing that was a huge mistake. I mean, Elon Musk sent a rocket into the air without any type of protection on the bottom of that rocket, and he fucked up. It messed up a bunch of stuff, and he said it. I fucked up. It blew the concrete all to pieces and shredded it everywhere. But I guarantee you that people are not going to be less think that he's going to be bad at what he does going forward. Like he's probably going to do that again. He's going to blow up some more concrete. He's going to make a difference. He's going to go through and adjust things.
When you're talking an extremely volatile substance on something that is cutting edge space travel, that we're talking grading comic books.
But he knew that there was an issue with he thought they would be fine, but he knew there'd be an issue with the concrete underneath there. He thought they'd be okay. They just went it was kind of a judgment call.
That's like I'm gonna make a judgment like Comic Chef says, lots of companies take work home. Not grading comics, sealed and encapsulating grading comic books, though. Even CGC says that their product doesn't leave their building.
Probably.
That's part of one of their videos that I remember seeing them put out on their website. CBCS, I don't know if they touted that they weren't supposed to or they weren't gonna, but like that doesn't sit well with anybody. What if I took McClay's Michael Jordan cards? If I worked for PSA, I took his cards home because I decided to grade them at home, and my dog took a leak on one of them. Like,
yeah, obviously, yeah, and I think that's what I'm saying. Like that might have been something they thought was okay. That how can this go wrong? But there's a lot of things that could go wrong, and it did, and the guy got jacked for it. So I don't think
it's supposed to be a control. It's supposed to be a controlled environment and a controlled process.
Sure,
is what it's supposed to be.
I think that, like with anything, I don't think that I think that CBCS is the only company that does it? Hell no. Do I think CGC does kind of a lot of the same things? Absolutely.
They don't send the books outside their building though for grading.
We have no idea because they're going to do whatever they do inside their company, and they might say things all the time, but the company is going to do what a company is going to do and think it's going to be okay. And a lot of times they probably get away with it, but there's going to be if there is the one time that they get caught up on it, then they'll get caught and then they'll probably never do that particular thing again. Maybe not. They're not taking it outside the building. Maybe I don't know. They're eating a snack around it. Oh, we didn't think it was wrong to eat a snack around it. We're not eating food or drinking liquid. Then
becomes a liability after
brutal on it, or something like that. So I just think there's little corners that are cut like that all over, and it's just a matter of when they get caught on it.
Well, what does CBCS stand for? I know CGC stands for Certified Guaranteed Company, and that's one of the things that we've been talking about as a community. Is a lot of the issues that we've been having with CGC. I will say the last submission I got was absolutely spot on the grades. The grades that myself and Gary at Impressive Comic Books for the pre-screening, the grades were spot on. The cases were good. The labels were good. The experience was really good. So they hit that submission. They did a home run with that submission with me. They should be doing that with every submission for everybody, though.
So you're but I know you say that you're not pro CGC, but you are pro CGC. You're very
because I'm not going to take the risk of sending a 1-of-1 book to CBCS if it's not a guarantee. They're not going to take it off site. Yeah, they made the mistake. They can sit there and promise all day long, like, Rhino, man, you steal $5,000 from me, Andy, I won't do it again. If I'm ever going to trust you with my money again, absolutely not. I'm not saying CGC is better than CBCS, but there's obviously a trust level here with a different experience with different people.
There's only one way to earn trust back, and that's to earn it.
And that's why we're talking about this tonight. Is this grading submission like money back guarantee, them coming to the plate to try to earn trust back?
I doubt it. I think what it is they might be trying. There's no way to garner that trust for that particular item unless there's a. Here we go. I got a great idea, guys. Why don't we become inspectors of CGC and CBCS on just their practices, and then they can be audited on what they do. That would solve a lot of issues.
I mean, bringing some transparency to their processes, like we've called for transparency.
McClay, we could do this. We could be auditors, and we could audit them according to what the standard of the industry says, and include other companies.
Dude, McClay, he hits the nail on the head. You know who we've talked to people from CBCS as a community. We've talked to people from CGC, PGX, ECGCS, if I got that correct. We've talked to plenty of them. You know who we've never seen? An auditor for any one of these companies.
No,
damn straight.
No. They don't want those people to jump on because they'll make a mistake.
But do we? Yeah. What I'm saying is, if we've never seen them or talked to them, then how do we know they exist?
We coined it. We're coining that right now. So if we did it live, but we're coining the auditors of grading companies. So when that becomes a thing, it started here.
This is Brad hits the nail on the head. It's a crapshoot, no matter who you use, and I don't disagree with that one bit. I just think I have. It's a game of percentages, and I think I just have a little bit better percentage of return on quality with CGC still.
That's the invisible book thing, Brad, was pretty funny. Dinesh had something to say about that.
What about signatures and no sigs? So much for their guarantee. Yeah, I don't know. I got to look further into that. Either way, the money back. That feels like we could wind up into this pinch with CBCS that we had with CGC. Was there's an influx and a flood with grading. If that does happen, then you could see a drop in their quality control, because now they're putting a time limit on their turn times.
Well, they're really screwing themselves by doing that, because, like I said, there's a possibility they're going to get free. People are going to get they're going to load the crap out of that thing, and hopefully getting free stuff. So they better be prepared, because they really could crap the bed with this thing.
Which is why at the bottom it says dealers and other people, please contact. So dealers aren't dealers. Some people that were dealers might be thinking, well, I'm going to send XYZ hundreds of books, but there's a little thing that protects them from that. That I'm guessing if you're part of a dealer program, that you're not going to be able to recoup anything if your books are not sent out on time.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Kingdom says CGC currently lost some books.
How dare you?
I don't doubt that CGC has lost some books.
Yeah.
I'm lucky that I have not had books lost. Everything has been accounted.
There's probably multiple people in here that have books lost with companies right now.
I gotta admit that I've had a very lucky run with CGC for the last 4, 5, 6 years, and I think the couple of worst egregious things I had are some crack slabs that I had to get repaired and a label swap, and I think that's usually like the worst of it.
Man, I'm telling you that my book, that 300 that I had, that was a 9.4 newsstand, come back at 8.5. Just
you send that right back to a hood. Crack that sucker out, have it sent to hood, and get a red label on CBCS.
The words of a smart man were just spoken. That red label of CBCS, I think, where they've gained a lot of value over the last couple of years, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Grading invisible books.
That's
I don't know.
That's what I was saying. Dinesh had something to say about that invisible book thing.
Yeah.
Because that was Bad Ideas deal.
I'm not getting the warm and fuzzies from either company lately. Like I used to have 100% zero doubt my books are going to CGC. I'm going to get a great service. And then over the years, something's not going well. And then learning more from the community, it's like, okay, my foundation is a little shaken. And then after last year at C2E2, with that whole finagle of the acetate gate and CGC backing off of what they said and then getting back on, it's just the back and forth stuff and the lack of transparency and the lack of sticking with a plan and owning it. It was really tough. But where I sit right now with I'm grading, I don't know, 10, 20 books a month. CGC's winning out just by a bit. It does get eroded at a little bit here and there. We'll see.
Shout out. Go ahead, Andy.
And we'll see, because that's leading into the next topic that I want to talk about. Is I did just recently submit a book to CGC this past weekend.
Yeah. Shout out to Gotham City Comics, who says 13 books lost, fighting CGC for money reimbursement right now. Let us know how that goes. I'd be very interested in that. And shout out to Gotham City Comics. Great comic shop.
I mean, you can almost talk about this topic on a bi-weekly or weekly basis so that people can filter in and they could talk about their experiences more so than just posting things on Instagram or other places where they get lost. Here, it kind of gets to become a record of knowledge, and the community at large can start to share some of these things, and we can snip it and share it more, because I had no idea Gotham City was battling that right now, and I'd like to hear more about how it goes.
Craziness.
Speaking about hearing more about how things go, Motor City Comic-Con was just this past weekend.
Well, before we get into your spot, I want to ask about the con itself. Was the con pretty packed? Was it, there are a lot of people there, a lot of money exchanging hands, that type of thing?
Yes. Ticket sales were reportedly 20% higher than the con last year. That Friday / Saturday, Sunday, sales were 20% higher than they were last year.
Did they get more people than they had last year?
I want to dip into my experience a little more. So I did something that I'd never done before. Is I got to experience the con from a retailer vendor experience, and that was really neat. And I'll say this, I can attest to there being more ticket sales, because I didn't leave the booth for all of Saturday, essentially, because it was so busy out there. And it's just like, I like people and I enjoy everybody, but man, was I starting to get a little claustrophobic. So I had my own little corner cut out where I could stop and I could stay and I could hang out. I'd never seen that con that busy, and it makes me really appreciate the way they set up their aisles and how much wider their aisles are over other conventions.
They have such a great logo, dude. That's a killer logo.
Was that all you wanted to know, was the ticket sales or the attendance?
Yeah, the attendance, if it was up. You said you sat back from a retailer's point of view. Were other retailers happy about how everything? Did they sell out well? Did they sell well at all? What was there?
From my experiences, I don't think people were selling out, but I heard from retailers stating that they were slammed. Like Friday was a slower trickle that got a little bit busier in the evening, but Saturday retailers were slammed. But you could tell there was not really a divide, but it was like the people weren't going for big wall books from some of the vendors that we've known for years and years and years. They were going to like brick and mortar retailers and buying out graphic novels, buying out package deals, buying a ton of other stuff. But when you would go to look at like some of the well-known vendor names, they were getting a lot of traffic, but you didn't see people there buying $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 slabs. They were getting a lot of higher frequency of traffic, maybe at a lower amount of money, but without oversharing more information than what I was told. Every retailer that I went to said it was a really good convention for them. Every single one of them had pretty much the exact same thing to say. They had a great weekend there.
Nice.
20% higher ticket sales. Like I said, Saturday was bumper to bumper.
That's crazy. Why would you raise the prices? You want more people to come out.
Oh, no, I'm the number of tickets. The number of tickets. Not the cost of the tickets. I think the cost of the tickets remain unchanged.
I thought that's what you were saying. I was like, what are you talking about?
No, the
higher ticket sales.
The number of physical tickets sold was 20% higher.
You got to. I got to remember. You got to remember, Andy.
Smoke weed every day.
Oh no!
We have a new button pusher tonight.
I like it. It works really good. The setup you've got going works and sounds really good. But I'm really excited. I got to experience something I'd never experienced before, and that was a con from the vendor retailer experience or side of things. A dear friend of mine, Double Low on Instagram, had a booth this year, and he says, "Hey," he said, "what are you doing?" And I said, "Well, we always go to the con every year." And he's like, "I could use an extra set of hands." I'm like, "Really? Okay, we always buy tickets, but if you need a hand setting up, I'm there, happy to help." Well, we got there Thursday. We helped set up his booth with him, stayed till like 9:00 Thursday night, had a lot of fun there, went out to dinner, and then got ready to work part of Friday and work Saturday. And that is really interesting. The number of people that you get to spend time with is so much larger. It's increased dramatically that you get to actually spend more people, because the people that are coming to that booth want to speak to you for a specific reason of toys or comics. I got to meet a lot of new people, got to see a lot of really cool old friends, a lot of people that I hadn't seen for a while. And it's easier. I think it's like we found each other a little bit easier because I could quick text booth this number and they would be cruising through. That was a lot of fun. But also, people watching is a really cool hobby I like to have, and you get to people watch a lot from a vendor booth. But I'll start off with kind of digging into this a little bit. Is we had the most unique artist experience ever with John Jang. We got the last commission opening for the con with John Jang. Skeff being the first one. There was only two, and Skeff, like 5 minutes before us, was there and got it. And I was 5 minutes behind him. I went over there and I talked to him a little bit, and like, here's what we enjoy. And I'm like, I always want this sketchbook to be something that an artist is really inspired to do. So if you tell me there's something you're inspired to do that might not be up my alley, that's okay, because then the book gets some diversity, gets something different, right? And artists have a lot more fun putting in something they're really interested in doing, and then it tends to grow and blossom a little bit. So we commissioned John Jang for our sketchbook, and when we went to pick it up on Sunday, this was the sketch that he showed us. That was the sketch that we received from John Jang, and I'll let that sit. The bottom one.
Can you blow that up?
That's as far as I can zoom in right there. I cut it down as much as I could. It's difficult to see because it's basically one pencil line that's only lifted off of the paper once or twice.
Was it a challenge?
What?
Was it like a challenge not to lift a pencil off the thing?
No, this was a full on 3-day convention commission, sketch commission in the book. And obviously I've got my camera out. I'm ready to take a picture. I'm trying to take video at the same time as he goes to open it up. And we freeze. And we're looking at this. And I don't know how to react. I'm frozen, and I'm looking through the camera, and I'm like, I'm starting to feel like this mojo like building up in me, like, what is going on? This can't be what wait a second, what is going on? And I look up from the camera, and it felt like a solid 2 minutes of just staring at this thing. I look up from the camera, I look at it, I'm like, you're about to flip a page, aren't you? But I didn't like say it as like a statement. I said it more of as like, I hope you're about to flip a page and do something here, because like, I don't know what's going on. Lo and behold, he drops this bombshell on us after this. He totally trolled us for a solid couple of minutes right there, and did this custom Ahsoka bust.
John is just the greatest, man. He's such a cool guy.
That I absolutely in love with that experience. I just he totally trolled us, and it was absolutely hilarious after the fact. But so he sets this down, and he's laughing and he's having a good time. And even my wife, Sarah, still on her face has this expression of what just happened. but that sketch turned out absolutely fantastic. I'm over the moon for that Ahsoka bust. It turned out amazing. But he totally had us. Like, there's mind you, there's a crowd of people around us. There's like 3 or 4 people that are waiting in line. John's booth always had 3 or 4 people there lined up waiting to talk to him. It was hard to just kind of wedge in there and talk to him. And there was always people around. So as we're getting this, I can feel the eyes burning over me. And I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? And then
How do I react to this?
And he drops that. Like, I know he had a lot of fun doing that. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if other members of the YouTube community messaged him and said, hey, mess with Andy and Sarah, because there's the hashtag Jang Gang is out there with Legion of Comics and some other people. So I wouldn't be surprised if they messaged him and said, hey, mess with Sarah and Andy. It'll be all fun and games. And he's still smiling in this picture and laughing it up. Love the guy.
Dude, John Jang is probably the nicest comic artist in the game right now. You can walk up to his table, he'll have 3 to 4 people talking to him, and then if he sees you're there and he hasn't said something to you, all of his attention goes to you. He talks to you in a way where you feel like you're actually, it's not just like a quick, hey, how you doing, where are you from type deal. You feel like he's actually talking to you. He's a really, really nice, engaging con presence, and that's very important for artists out there. If you're going to be at a con, it's a waste of your time and money for you just to sit there and act like a jerk. If you throw on the nice, throw on the engaging, throw on the empathy, be as engaging and as nice as possible, and make it worth you being there. Otherwise, you're just going to lose fans.
Yeah. And my understanding is, as John wasn't even originally planning on being at Motor City Comic Con, I heard the guys at State of Comics, a local comic shop to Detroit, helped make that happen between John and the convention and them, and whatever strings that they pulled, or not just strings, it's not like strings they were pulling, but whatever magic they made happen behind the scenes to make this happen. I'm phenomenally I will always be in debt to John Jang and State of Comics for that awesome experience. That was phenomenal. Absolutely in love with that. So again, thank you, John. Thank you, State of Comics. That was a blast. And that's just one part. There's still so much more to go here, and I got to speed it up a little bit. I hate to blow through the rest of this as quickly, but there's some meat and potatoes here that I have to hit. That's really important. We got to see Beth, our dear friend, the Chalk Girl, and she worked on a fantastic Adam Warlock piece. Another one of my favorite artists, Caleb King, does fantastic Star Wars content. In fact, McClay, you bought one of the Ahsoka pieces from him, didn't you?
Yep. I was about to say, I got my Ahsoka piece sitting over here waiting to go into a frame. It's going to go behind me.
Caleb is an amazing human that we always love spending time with at any of the conventions he's at. He's always at C2E2 as well. And speaking of Ahsoka, my wife, Sarah, did an Ahsoka cosplay from The Mandalorian, handmade. She slaved over the sewing machine for weeks and handmade that whole Mandalorian Ahsoka cosplay, and she cosplayed on Saturday.
Did she enjoy it?
Yeah, she actually liked her Mando setup better because it was way more comfortable to wear. It breathed a lot more. It wasn't so she wasn't all hot and sweaty and crazy congested. Not congested, but stuffy.
Cosplaying.
This is her 3rd or 4th convention cosplaying as Ahsoka, and she likes it enough that she's considering making another Ahsoka cosplay outfit and potentially applying for what's the offshoot of the 501st? I think it's just the Rebels, the Rebel Legion. I think where cosplayers can join either the 501st or they can join the Rebel Legion and actually be members, and they team up and go to conventions across the country and do the big stage Star Wars events. And I'm actually trying to push her to apply and be a part of this, because she doesn't need me and my son to go to these conventions. She can go hop on a plane for an overnight and go do one of these things and have an amazing experience while I stay home and take care of the mini-me for a weekend, So I'm really trying to push her to branch out to do more of that. She had a fun time. But speaking of Ahsoka, one of the biggest reasons why we went to Motor City, we go to Motor City every year because 1, it's our anniversary trip, and we absolutely love it. But 2, we found out Ashley Eckstein was going to be at Motor City, which she has not done Motor City as far as I could tell the last number of years. I don't recall if she was. I missed out on it. But she was at C2E2. We found out she was doing Motor City. It's like, okay, we got to meet her at Motor City. It's our home turf. It's our anniversary trip every weekend. And of course, if you're going to see Ashley Eckstein, you got to bring something for her to sign. So we brought the Clone Wars one that we bought from community member Comics and Death Metal off of Instagram. And she absolutely slayed this signature. But before we get to showing off the book, guess who was right next door as well? Matt Lantern. You can't grab a Clone Wars one and have Ashley sign it and not have Matt sign it, in my opinion, because this is an anniversary piece for my wife and I. It's one that's going to be a forever piece for home. It's going to get hung up on the wall and framed. And Ashley hit an absolute home run with the signature. And here's the final book. After it's all dried and all done, the boys over at State of Comics took care of the witnessing for us and took care of the sending the book out. And it's a quality book with quality signatures. I needed a high quality service, and State of Comics definitely stepped up to the plate and hit a grand slam for us, because we're sitting there. Ashley, this is the biggest Ashley Eckstein signature I've ever seen on a comic book or a piece of anything that she's ever signed. I've never seen her do an A that's like literally like 6-7 inches tall, maybe 5 or 6, but I've never seen her do a signature this big. And I've got the book, and I'm following my wife, and we're going over the Matt Lantern signing. And when I say I've got the book, the witness actually had the book at that point in time. But we get to Matt's line, and I'm such an a-hole. We get to Matt's line. I set the book down, and I'm like, Matt, bro, literally, like, I hold no punches. I'm like, Matt, bro, Ashley hit a home run. We need you to hit a home run too. It's just you two signing the book, and it's going to get graded. It's our anniversary. This is their piece. And he just kind of looks up at me and kind of glances at me, and I'm like, yeah, I said what I said. I'm sorry, not sorry. I kind of came at him, but I was just so freaking excited at that point because the book.
What did he think? Did he act like a dick to you?
No, he didn't.
Okay.
He's just kind of like, he just kind of realized how amped we were about this book and about the signing. Matt was just a sweetheart, just an awesome human being. But you can kind of see a little bit of a chuckle on his face. He's like, these guys are pumped. And he did a fantastic job. This is also one of the largest Matt Lantern signatures I've ever seen. And when I say Lantern, I always mispronounce the name. I apologize, Matt. This is one of the largest signatures from Matt that I've seen. But more importantly, if I could zoom in on the book, I would. It's the quote. Revenge is not the Jedi way, Vader and Anakin say. And then Ahsoka's response is, I am no Jedi. And that's Star Wars Rebels Season 2, Episode 22, if I remember correctly. That is like the goosebumpiest, craziest, heartbreaking interaction between Ahsoka and Vader ever. And it's now immortalized on the book for us, going off and getting graded. And when I say this is an important book for us, this book is the sharpest, cleanest copy I have ever seen, with the sharpest corners and the perfect spine. And those boys at State of Comics treated it like the Rolls Royce that it is. I mean, it's just like when I gloved up, and I personally took care of the book going from the signature witness bag into the shipping bag, and they put it in a top loader immediately and put it where it needed to be. I mean, they didn't even wait for the end of the convention. This is why you work with high quality local comic groups or local comic shops. Is they didn't even wait till the end of the convention. They didn't wait till the end of the convention to bring the book back with them to the shop. That book was gone. Obviously, you know, that book left the convention that afternoon evening.
What did it cost you to get graded through them?
I actually was able to use their paperwork and grade it through my account. So it's going to be based on the fees on my account, but it was a $20 witnessing fees is what I paid for them. So even though they were only getting $28 per signature, so $40 out of my pocket for the signature witnessing, they still provided top-notch service.
That's awesome.
I'm super excited to be able to work with them that weekend. That book is like, it's a Rolls Royce of a book for us, and they treated it like that, bar none, top to bottom. They followed the procedures and everything to a T, and the paperwork is still old school, antiquated, like triple file copy paperwork, but it worked out good. Hopefully CGC changes that in the future. That book is going right. Oh God, I've got so much anxiety right now because of how things have been going at CGC. But nonetheless, I'll be happy. I'll be happy with getting that book back in hand, based on Impressive Comic Books' pre-screening and my pre-screening. we have a really good shot at a 9.8. We have a really good shot at a 9.8. Comics and Death Metal. When he bought those copies, I don't think he ever took them out of the bag and board. They were like spares that, you know how we all do. We buy one, keep one. And that was the spare set that he sold me. That being said, all the other copies of that set are graded and down here and ready for the next unboxing. But that's my Motor City Comic Con experience. I implore anybody out there within driving or flying distance that wants to go. It's a must visit con every year for us here.
Very cool, man. Did you see anybody out there said hello?
Man, yeah, there's a handful. Dino strolled through. I got to see Dino. Ryan Obi the Gray from Instagram was there and spent a good deal of time talking with us. And there's so many more people I got to see in passing. I just didn't get I needed to take more pictures, and I'm terrible at remembering to take pictures. Lots of cosplayers. I've been spending a lot more time hanging out with cosplayers as my wife gets more and more into cosplaying. It looks like it was rocking. You guys got to hop on YouTube and search Motor City and look for all of the other content dropping. Ashley is a sweetheart.
I didn't realize she was married to David Eckstein.
Yep.
Baseball player. That's crazy.
I mean, she even came out around the table and hugged my wife and hugged the young lady behind us. There was a lot of emotions going on there, and she saw that, and yeah, she's absolutely phenomenal. Just probably one of the greatest experiences when it comes to signing something and waiting in line and doing something at a con like that. That was phenomenal. She's always been good to the fans. She has been.
That's cool. Congrats.
And, yeah, the whole Clone Wars crew was there, but we stopped at just Ashley and Matt signing that book because obviously what was on the cover, Anakin and Ahsoka, but then we did the white signature for Ahsoka. Like it's like young Ahsoka and Anakin on the cover, but then it's older Ahsoka and Anakin signing it. Red lightsaber for Vader, and then white lightsaber for Ahsoka. It just really kind of fit. And then when we pulled the quotes out from Rebels season 2, I'm like, this is everything's falling in place, and the whole universe is coming together on this book, and it's going to be a standout Clone Wars one for sure.
Can't wait to see the finished product.
I'm as equally excited as I am nervous. State of Comics said that they want to come on for that unboxing. It'll be a single book unboxing where we do a community giveaway as well. State of Comics wanted to be a part of that, but they also said they do want to see the grade before we go live. And I'm like, I always do them blind, man. And they're like, okay. I got to work on them, talk to them a little bit, but I fast tracked the book. So we'll see what that extra $15 really does now, considering the last modern submission I did only took 7 days anyways. I'm like, I'm just throwing money out the window at this point at a con. Let's throw another $15 at it.
Yeah.
The good thing is that since there's not going to be any Ahsoka coming out tomorrow, you can pay for the fast track without any problems.
Yeah.
Because tomorrow's New Comic Book Day.
That's a good segue, man. Is it though? Because there's news of that vehicle accident happening and then the shipment not getting to Diamond.
Huh?
Yeah, some East Coast LCSs might be drastically or might be affected this New Comic Book Day, because I did not find the article in time, but there was a large accident that I think involved a shipment of books en route to Diamond, and maybe we can find something here on the fly really quick.
I'm looking right now. A couple. Let's see here.
Wow, that's badass.
It says here, Diamond Comic distributors stop shipment of all comic books, graphic novels. Oh, that's March. Hold on. Latest. Let's look at latest. I don't see anything really. There we go. Next week's Diamond shipment has been delayed until next Monday. Sorry, next Monday. And as you can see here, Jay is reflecting the positive vibes. So yeah, next Monday. Yeah. Comics delayed. Marvel and Indie Comics.
Oh.
Yeah. Delayed this week.
That gives you a chance. If you didn't get to go put your claims in for the books you wanted, you can go in tomorrow from our preview and say, oh, I want that one to be put in.
Well, it makes me wonder how far of a reach it'll have and who it'll actually affect, because I was anticipating my shop being affected, and I got an email with what looks like 80% of what I ordered is there tomorrow. So In fact, I've got last week's books I didn't pick up yet either.
Yeah.
My stack has piled up a little bit. It's needless to say. I started working on it a couple weeks ago. I've been slowly. I've gotten it down to. I've taken out 2/3 thus far, so one more third left.
Yeah, that's a bummer. Comics delayed until Monday. That's a bummer. That is a bummer. But that being said, let's take a look at some of the goodies. I really love this Vampirella by Souza Micah. There's a bunch of versions to get. Here is
say, Mama.
Here, look at the 1 in 10. That gold is gorgeous.
She kills covers, man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I guess since she's a vampire, she's a killer as well.
This might be up there for cover of the year.
The gold one or
all of them, dude? All of them. There's the black and white. There's the gold. There's the regular. Look at the black and white.
Wow.
It is a 10 of an image, man. I mean, just beautiful. So, yeah, that's the book of the week for me. We also got this Doom Patrol. This is this is a foil variant for this. So it could be a really cool foil variant depending on what the foil looks like.
Man, if I show up tomorrow and it's just a spot foil with foil eyes, I'm going to be sad.
All right. Yeah. Next, Frizen Harley is great this week. This is just the B cover, but there are some great variants.
Oh, too bad she wasn't blowing up. She didn't, but you could have almost turned that into a bubblegum cover.
Yeah. This is the 1 in 25 by Nakayama. That's beautiful. And then this is the 1 in 50. That's gorgeous too. Really, really nice. And then this is the foil Nathan Zerdy variant.
I've been hearing his name a lot lately.
He does these great tattoo covers. He's been doing it for a while now.
Oh, that's probably why he's got her upside down, is he's got the tattoos done. So,
yeah.
Okay.
And then there is this is the Seb McKinnon, and this guy kills it. There's your bubblegum cover.
Okay.
Bubble yum.
And then Hallows Eve has got a killer Scotty Young cover.
Ooh.
Be on the lookout for that. But it's also got a killer Swaby variant. This character is a 10, man. Great, great character. And here's the 1 in 25. The masks idea is just such a great idea. Great looking character. The jack-o'-lanterns, everything about it is great. So all the covers other than the main are good to me. This 007 Linsner skull cover is awesome.
Lingerie cover.
Regular, yeah. Here you go, Ryan.
Yes.
The Extreme Rhynoverse by Leon Inhook Lee is awesome.
That thing's sick.
Yeah, 1 in 25. The regular cover is awesome too.
Yeah, they're all like doing these new. Oh, that's crazy looking. That's the newer one. That's not like a homage or anything.
This is the Momoko garbage. Yeah, and then here's the Stegman other variant. Yeah, people are just collecting those to collect them. And here's the Lashley.
Yeah, though the best one is that first one you showed, obviously. Yeah, and I got to collect the rest of them, but I would grade the first one for sure. The Spider-Man 2099, there's a badass cover in there too.
Yeah, this is a good Punisher from Lashley. Ken Lashley's a great artist. I like that Punisher 2099. And then
that pretty cool.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. At first I was like, yeah, it's too cluttered, but then when you look at it, it's pretty fun.
Connecting cover. And then this is the design variant.
Oh, that for Punisher?
Yeah. And then we've got Warlock Rebirth. The Phil Noto variant is awesome. Other than that, the rest are garbage. And then here we go for you homage fans. There's Thor number 34, the Spider-Verse variant, of course, a McFarlane homage. And then we get into Star Wars. You got the Darth Vader black, white, and red, which has an amazing LaRocca variant.
Yep, that's my favorite.
It's also got a great main cover. And then this one right here, the 1 in 25 is great too. So
I
all these
I like that, but the La Roca variant is my favorite out of that group.
Yeah, this is a 10 out of 10 right here. That one's great. So, you guys got anything else?
Man, not a lot out for me this week. High Republic number 10, the 1 in 25 U variant was all right. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it's okay.
I still like the La Roca better, which now
Yeah.
I'm panicking because I don't see it on my pull list at the moment.
The hyperspace stories has got Asajj Ventress showing up, which is awesome. She's one of my favorite all-time characters. So you've got a couple good Asajj Ventress covers for all you Asajj Ventress fans. That's a great cover right there. Carrie Nord. Here's the High Republic number 10.
I like cover A quite a bit too.
Yeah, the 1 in 25 is definitely the one. The Linnell Francis U. What's up with this? He's got like a Witchblade gauntlet.
I'm about 3 or 4 issues behind, and I need to find out what's going on with that now. Just leading up to a con, I've been getting delayed getting my reading done.
Yeah. The Nakayama Green Arrow. We'll take a look at that. I see people in the chat asking about that. Let's go take a look. There you go. Again, these red backgrounds, man. It's good, but he's done so many of them with the background colors. It's like this is like the Unknown Comics variant right now.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Like I don't need any more of that. But this, look at this. This is pretty nice. That's beautiful, man. Gorgeous. It's a 10. It's a cardstock Asian Pacific Islanders variant month. And this is the design variant. That's actually pretty good too. Decent looking character. So get those. And then this is the 1 in 25, which isn't that good. Yeah, first Troublemaker design variant. Yep. That's a good one. But this to me is the cover right here. This is just amazing. Very, very cool. Yeah, that's about it I can think of.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to a nice quiet week.
Yeah, light week. I agree. So that is New Comic Book Day.
Ryan, you got everything you were looking for, like Christmas?
He pointed it all out. Just the Rhynoverse stuff and then the Spider-Man 29.99.
Nice.
You know what that's going to leave us with?
Uno más tingle. That makes my Spanish, my English.
I gotta do it. I gotta book it out.
That's funny, dude. Yeah, one more thing. What do I got? I've got tomorrow night, Wednesday night review on Beyond Wednesdays. Come hang out with us. We're going to be talking about whatever's going on in the comic world and the market report. And then Thursday night, Bogcast. Friday night, Hot 10 with Ben Stein. And then Saturday night, Modern Comic Mayhem. And then we're back here again next Tuesday.
My only more thing is to check out Rhynoverse on the Bay of E or Fee-Bay. Started up the store, started putting some cards up there, and pretty much they're going up and going out pretty quickly. I got to re-up the store because I'm making a goal, I think, to put 2 or 3 cards up a day. I think is a goal of mine, just to kind of keep up with it. But it's been fun, interesting, and I was able to get a vacation for my family for the first few card sales. We're going to go to the SeaWorld area. Check them out. So yeah.
When are you going? Do you know when?
In June. My wife was telling me today, some late part of June.
Well, you should try and go when San Diego Comic-Con is there so you can see everybody that's going to be there for Comic-Con.
Oh, we're going to San Antonio.
Oh.
So
I was thinking San Diego.
That would be, if we were going there, it'd be way more stoked for sure. In fact, I might suggest that. Thank you for the insight. I might suggest it because I could turn that into a
hey, Hum, guess what's going on?
SeaWorld and surf trip.
Ooh,
I'm gonna look into that.
try
I might need to sell some more cards. So if you want some badass cards at a good price, go check out Rhynoverse on eBay so I can go to San Diego.
Nice. I hope that works. I hope that works out for you. End up going to San Diego, man. San
Man,
Diego.
I did too. That was an amazing idea. I'm gonna see what I can do to make that happen.
Yeah. Man, my one more thing this week is buckle up, buckaroos, because we've got another CGC unboxing that we're gonna try to do and knock out this Sunday or this Friday. And my hope is that things are on the up and up. I'm nervous. I've been nervous. This box has been down here for several weeks now. It is all of the rest of the Clone Wars books that we got in that set, issues 2 through 12. We are trying for a full run of Clone Wars, and we are obviously shooting for all 9/8. I know of at least one book that when Gary and I pre-screened it, it was probably like 9/4 area. And I'm like, well, I'll send it as a placeholder just to complete the set right now because I don't have a affordable or a cheap copy of this issue 7 or issue 8 or whatever it was. I can't remember off the top of my head. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm nervous. I really want to get the unboxing done and so I can stop being nervous, but also because I think we'll have that Clone Wars 1 back in 2 to 3 weeks, which makes sense that if I do this unboxing this Friday or next Friday, then 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks later, we've got the other one done. That's my one more thing. Like I said, we're here every Tuesday. I'm here every Wednesday. Wednesday is all set up for tomorrow. And then I'll try to get that CGC unboxing, the blind unboxing, set up and ready to go for this Friday because you never know what's going to happen. I could pull 2 more 9/9s out like I did the last unboxing that I did. That was insane. And I even clipped that because of how crazy that was.
9/9. Yeah, that's one of those rarities right there.
2 of them in one batch. That's amazing.
That's cool.
Like lying for attention. I've never heard of something like that. I just can't see it. Yeah, no, that's why we do that's
live. I think it's on live on your channel.
That's why we do the unboxings live, is because what happens is actually happening, and the books, the boxes are sealed. Seriously, Casey, we do community giveaways every time we do a blind unboxing as well. Because everybody that's sitting there hanging out, we want to give back to the community. I think we did 2 last time we did an unboxing. We try to do 2 unboxings a month, and you just got to be in the chat, just got to be there, part of it. And we've got a big old box of slabs that we're doing as far as a giveaway. The community box keeps building up. Every time we do a blind unboxing, we pull a book from that batch. And yeah, Sicko saw the video as proof. We posted it on TikTok. We posted it on IG as a reel. We posted it on a YouTube short, and we clipped the actual thing. So if you go to my YouTube short section, you can find it pretty easily there as well. But that's it, man. That's the show. You got anything else, Ryan, before we cut it out?
That's it. I'm sure McClay would say the same thing. Deuces to all. And yeah, ready to rock it.
We'll do the old-fashioned Bryan send-off.
Yeah.
Right?
Bow!
Boogity bow! See y'all next week.
Double up. The money I color. Excuse me while I change. The roller boogie has made me sweaty. Yeah, sweaty.